Welcome to another episode of Something About Sports. I am your host, Jake Eilerman. I am actually joined by the one and only Ray McGuff. How are we doing tonight, Ray?
Doing all right.
Awesome. Ray, just for a second, you want to quick plug your podcast that you have?
Yeah, sure. So I co-host several different podcasts with several different people. Currently doing the Area 42 podcast with Jake Thornburg, where we dive into paranormal activity, UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids. We dive into that kind of stuff. Also with Aaron England, I do the Strange Findings podcast, where we do monthly updates on silly and crazy news headlines. And then also with Jean-Paul Mantilla, we do SchlockFest, where once a month he tries to play a terrible movie and piss me off with it. Also, there's a new one that we just started with Jenny Morrow. It's Jenny Morrow, Jean-Paul Mantilla, and myself, called What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? Or WTF Did I Just Watch? Where we watch old canceled 80s TV shows and dissect them. So.
And that was one of the reasons, Ray, I wanted to kind of have you on as the first official guest of Something About Sports, because tonight's topic actually kind of has to do with movies and everything. So I know I've been on a couple different podcasts in the past with you talking about movies, so I thought it was the best thing to be able to do is bring you on, simply because we're going to talk about actors in sports. Some people that you may not have known were athletes, and some that you may not have known were actors.
Okay, cool.
That cool crossover, just because, it's in both of our wheelhouse and everything, and I thought it would be great for our listeners to kind of be able to hear not just me telling, the movies that people were in or the TV shows that they were on, that there actually be dialogue about these actors and athletes.
Okay, awesome.
But wanted to go with the first one being obviously Jim Brown. Being in Ohio, yeah. Jim Brown is, famous. I never knew that he had actually become an actor after he retired, and then realized that I've seen a lot of the movies that he was in and never knew that was Jim Brown.
Right, yeah. I think From Dusk Till Dawn, isn't he in that one?
I believe so. Some of the ones I found, one of the first ones he was in was The Dirty Dozen with John Wayne.
Oh yeah,
I was like, that's awesome. Like, if you're gonna be in a first movie,
yes, Richard Roundtree. I guess I was wrong on that one. But I knew I'd seen him in some older films too.
Yeah,
so,
but I was if you're gonna have somebody to do lines with in your first movie, John Wayne's usually gonna help you turn into it. Some of the other ones, Any Given Sunday, and that was one I know the character, and it never dawned on me that was Jim Brown. And after it, I went back and looked at it, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I not know this?
Right.
And then he was in He Got Game.
Oh yeah, with Denzel Washington, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, yeah. See, right here, got all kinds of them. Mars Attacks.
Yes. Yep.
Mars. Yeah. And that's what's amazing. Not only did this man have a Hall of Fame career, but then he went on to, look at the amount of things that this man has been in after leaving, a Hall of Fame career where, he's known by like everyone in Ohio.
Yeah, I guess he was in The Running Man too, right?
Is it true? Is it Running Man?
Yeah, I believe so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see Arnold and I think True Lies. I don't know why my brain went there. Oh.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy, man, that some of these guys put in all that work, into football, and then they just get right into Hollywood too,
Right.
So.
And then one that I actually was amazed with, and I almost found it hilarious, and I was like, we have to include this. is Ed O'Neill, who is Al from Married with Children.
Right.
I mean, you always make jokes of, when anybody makes a comment about somebody's, accomplishments in sports, it's always, hey, but don't forget when Al Bundy threw 4 touchdowns to win the city championship. And that's become a running joke. I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know that he was actually an athlete. Like, he was a star football player. He actually was on the practice squad for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Holy smokes, I had no idea that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like that. That one blew my mind. Another one that I was amazed by was Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Yes, the comedian Jim Gaffigan was actually sitting here looking through my notes, wanted to get kind of some of those out of the way. He before graduating, he actually played for Georgetown and then transferred and started for Purdue. Right here,
Holy
look at
crap.
that. That looks nothing like you can see the images right next to each other. That looks like maybe his son. You'd be like,
Right.
oh, Jim Gaffigan's son is on steroids. That's awesome. Like, no, like that blew my mind. I mean, the Hot Pocket guy was a star athlete that, I was reading a thing that said he actually could have gotten drafted, but instead decided to he'd rather go do finance, and then hated finance after a year and moved to New York to become an actor.
Wow. He had his own Topps trading card and everything. Man.
Yes, that's what I said. It was one of those. It was like I never knew that. Like he's not somebody that is like normally talked about. And like when I was looking at different athletes that came up, and I was like, oh, maybe he won a state championship in high school or something. I was like, oh no, he went to Purdue University. Like he was a starter for Purdue. That's the craziest thing that. He makes a lot of jokes about, that by his looks that he just, crawled out of a sewer. And I'm like, he kind of does. And no, you find out this man was a world-renowned athlete.
I wonder why he never makes any jokes about it. That you think that'd be like prime material at this point?
Oh, absolutely. And then I wanted to get into, I don't know if you're aware of who Vinnie Jones is.
Yes, Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yep.
But did you know that before he was an actor, he was actually a world-famous soccer player?
No, I did not.
Yeah. He is most well known for the image that is now on the screen for getting frustrated. Yes, he grabbed a man by his manhood and squeezed.
That looks like a ref. Probably his bad call, huh?
No, I don't think it was a ref. It's a player. Their jerseys just happened to look like that. Similar. And yes, he grabbed the man and squeezed I found that, and one of my my favorite things that I learned about him is that he holds the record for the fastest from start of game to a red flag. and I was like, I have to find this story. This is the greatest story I've ever heard. And it is because apparently in Italy, they use to start of the game, they use a gunshot.
Uh-huh.
And he apparently yelled, "Ah, fuck, that's loud." Red flag. 15 seconds in.
Wow.
I was like, that. I read that. I could not stop like crying because I was laughing so hard at how great of a story that is. But I mean,
I would have guessed that dude was a real life criminal. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Before that. So that's crazy.
Because he plays that role so well.
Right.
Like, I mean, and he's just one of those that people avoid. Yeah, like they look like they just like pulled him out of prison. They're like, "You gonna come act in a few movies?" Yeah. He was also he was Juggernaut.
Right.
In the X-Men movies. I didn't know he was Juggernaut. That was the one when I was looking at it, I was most amazed by.
He has that famous line in that movie, "I'm Juggernaut, bitch."
Yes.
But yeah, that's a shocking one. I would have never guessed that he was a professional soccer player.
And like has like records. That's the craziest part. Another one that you wouldn't guess was an athlete is good old Mark Harmon from CSI.
Mark Harmon, CSI,
yes.
huh?
Yes.
Or
the Mark Harmon.
NCIS.
Right, yeah, NCIS.
Yeah.
Also
Actually, summer school.
Yeah. Oh, yes, nice. Thrown in summer school, but turns out he was actually the starting quarterback for the UCLA Bruins in 1970, 1971.
Holy crap.
Has one of the UCLA's biggest upsets in school history when they upset Nebraska. And I believe Nebraska was like in the top 10 at that time.
Huh.
And they were, I mean, they weren't the, big school that they are now. They were a much smaller school at the time. And I kind of went down a real weird rabbit hole, but actually found, because he won his record at UCLA in the 2 years he was a starting quarterback was 17-5. Look at that.
Okay.
He is such a pretty man.
No wonder he's a star. Yeah.
Right? I mean, look at that starting quarterback. Got that perfect glare. He had the glare down even back then.
Right.
Look at that glare.
And the perfectly coiffed hair.
Yes. But so he was 17-5 as a starting quarterback at UCLA. And so far in his acting career, he's been nominated for 16 awards.
Wow.
Yes. Been nominated. I believe he's only won like 2 or 3. So this man won more games at UCLA in the 2 years as a starting quarterback than he has in his entire acting career. I thought that was one of the coolest facts because, I mean, he's won that. I mean, when you look at him, like I said, then yeah, and then you start seeing these, pictures and stuff all over of, he was famous back then. And I mean, I've honestly only known him from the show. So it was really kind of cool.
Weird. Like recently he's played the tough guy on NCIS,
Right.
But when I was growing up, like I said, summer school was the first time I ever saw him anything. He would always play like comedy roles in the 80s and 90s,
Right.
So I never really even thought about him being a real life tough guy, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he was, like I said, I mean, you look at the pictures and stuff, the man just had the look from back then to now. Another one that I thought was interesting, Carl Weathers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Old Apollo Creed.
Creed.
Yes.
Currently on The Mandalorian.
What?
He's currently
He's
playing
currently,
a role on the
currently on The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
To random plug a show that's not paying me to say anything, but we'll randomly plug The Mandalorian.
Hey, I love it. They should check him out. If you've never seen Carl Weathers, check that out.
Yes, check out The Mandalorian. Now streaming on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
They can just send me a code to pay for my next month. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. I've got a 3-year-old. 1 month free. I'm good. But he actually played for the Oakland Raiders.
Nice.
Yes, he was an Oakland Raider. I mean, back in the day, we're talking back when Oakland was good. Look at that.
Look, that's a tough team to play for in any year, though. I mean, those guys are hardcore.
Oh yeah, dude. But dude, look at that. Look at that picture right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he played fullback, I believe.
Yeah.
Looks like he had a stint with the 49ers as well. So, we all make bad decisions. But yeah, that was one Jones, Carl Weathers.
That's crazy, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a big
And
dude, so it makes sense. But geez,
right now, here's a fun one, and I had to save this one for last, simply because I was actually a fan of this show growing up. But have you ever seen Little House on the Prairie?
yeah, man. When I was a kid, my mom used to like put on wholesome stuff for us to watch, and it was on like Saturdays. I always like actually always liked it because I like that time period. So
Well, it was really funny for me. So I grew up again, having to watch that, and my favorite character on the show was Farmer Jonathan Garvey.
it's the guy with the beard that was their
Yep.
friend. Yeah,
Yes.
I always liked him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he is actually known as Merlin Olsen.
Okay.
Okay. He was originally one of the members of the LA Rams back in the day when they were the Fearsome Foursome.
Oh wow.
Yes. This man was a part of one of the scariest defensive lines in the history of the NFL.
And he was
Then,
like the nicest dude in that show
yes.
too.
I remember as a kid, like having that put together that those two people were the same, and I was like, "There's no way! Like, there's no way." Farmer Jonathan Garvey was a big mean guy. No, he was one of the members of the original Fearsome Foursome.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
Look at these pictures; they're crazy.
I know. These compared to like this bushy, yeah.
Yeah, to that.
Yes, the bouncing back and forth. It is like the before. It's like the before and after of like a Rogaine commercial.
Yeah.
When you stop taking steroids and get on Rogaine, you go from this to this.
I'm just a gentle farm man.
I'm just when I'm not playing trying to win championships. I just like to be a simple farm man, helping protect the kids from the desert and the bears and
that is crazy, man. I never knew that ever. That's insane.
Yeah, that was one I'd say, because as a kid, I was I've grew up a Rams fan, and I remember watching it as a show. And when I found that out, I think as a teenager, I found out that they were one and the same, and it's like, no, like, it was one of those. I thought it was an actor that just happened to have the same name,
Right.
like one of those, like, oh, Bruce Smith, it's not that Bruce Smith. They're just both white and big, and they just happen to both be in the limelight. And it's like, no, this man, had again a Hall of Fame career, left, and then went to Little House on the Prairie. He also sitting looking at some of the stuff. He did an episode of Petticoat Junction.
Oh.
Trying to look at some of the stuff that he was in. Another football player that did a movie with John Wayne. He was in Undefeated with John Wayne.
Oh, okay.
So apparently that's a good thing if you're going to be a football player getting into acting. Go do a movie with John Wayne first. That's
right. That probably was the go-to in that time period.
Absolutely. And you look like a tough guy. They're like, well, let's see what John's doing. We'll see if we can get you a part.
Right.
John says it's okay. He's a fan, apparently. And that was kind of what I was able to find. I mean, I know we have a lot of these, like The Rock, Dave Bautista, all these guys.
It seems like wrestlers now have transitioned, and like they're using that platform to showcase themselves to become big action stars now.
Well, yeah, and then even like that, I mean, you've got NFL players and stuff that are picking it up. But I wanted to kind of maybe do some of those that people hadn't heard of. Not your Arnold Schwarzeneggers, your typical actor athlete combos that you're used to. So right. I kind of wanted to search and find ones that you went, oh wow, I never knew that.
Oh,
Yes.
there he is, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
Shazam!
Just damn. And some that should never act.
Yeah,
As
that would
our
be him.
as our
Followed it up by the worst video game ever. There, Shaq Fu.
Shaq Fu. I think at one
Well,
point when somebody trying to get him, yes. This is
ugh.
what we're wonderfully getting trolled right now by my producer, who's wonderfully putting up images
Yeah,
on the screen of
Shaq.
Shaq. Yeah, Shaq's horrible acting.
I,
Nobody.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to
Oh, you're
interrupt.
fine.
I was just going to say real quick. Wasn't Shaq in with Nick Nolte and Blue Chips? Remember that basketball movie in the late '90s? Because I think that was actually a good movie. Yeah. See,
Yeah. Hey,
you ever see Blue Chips?
if I have, it's been so long ago.
It's about a coach who's trying not to take outside money for his school program, and
So
then he ends up deciding to do it, and he gets Shaq on his team, and they start to go to the championship. It's about the perils of taking money and lying about it.
yeah, which ironically we still have issues with today. And I
Right.
love that my producer right now, Aaron, is having a hoot going through and finding as many examples of actors, and we'll say athletes for David Arquette.
Right. Well, let's say too, like since he's bringing up wrestling, I mean Andre the Giant that is always springs to mind as somebody that really nailed that divide because he came out of wrestling a big star and then did several movies, and then also did one of my all-time favorite. He played is it Fezzik? I believe is how you say it.
Yeah.
In Princess Bride, and it's that's a generational movie. Like
Absolutely.
so
Me
I
and
think that's
Levi,
kind of cool.
me and my son Levi actually just watched that the other day.
Yeah, it's great, man. It still holds up.
Oh, dude, it
And
still holds up, and it's one of those movies that you're like, especially today, you're like, man, I don't know what's gonna be. You're like, it's such a wholesome movie. Like like, yeah, I'll let my kid watch Princess Bride.
Absolutely. So it's really cool that these guys do crossovers and that that can happen. So
Right.
I mean, O.J. Simpson famously was in 3 Naked Gun movies before he brutally murdered his wife. So
Was almost the Terminator, but
yeah.
he apparently couldn't get the role because he didn't look like a killer.
Ooh.
I'm dead serious. That has been
Producers are kicking themselves on that one, huh?
That was said in interviews. Why he did not get the role is because one of the I can't remember who it was said that they didn't believe that he could be a killer, and it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
really regretted that a few years later. Like,
apparently they would have just had to grab him and say, "Listen, here's the scene. Your wife's left you, and now she's fucking a waiter."
He's like he starts going and be like, that's not how it was done. It was that's not how it would be done.
Yeah. But I mean, he had crossed over, too. That was another big name that I thought of.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one that made the like a very smooth crossover, and people just were like, oh, he's an actor and he's in Hollywood, and then he became famous for other things.
Right. And then you got guys like John Madden, who played football for years, then became kind of a quasi-celebrity because was it Sports Center picked up in the 90s, and they hired those guys then to do the games. And I mean, I got little cousins who know who John Madden is because
Madden. Wasn't he in Little Giants? Didn't he played himself in Little Giants, didn't he?
I believe he did, yeah. So he was also in some movies and stuff too.
Because I believe he's who created the Fumblerooski.
Yeah, Fumbleia.
Yeah, isn't it the Fumblerooski in Little Giants? The play that they run at the end to win the game, isn't that created by John Madden?
I could very well haven't seen it in a long time.
Because it's him drawing with the young kid. It's the Fumblerooski.
Uh-oh. It looks like Aaron's found it. Yep.
Okay. Which, ironically, again, also stars Ed O'Neill.
Right.
He played,
Now that I know that,
bring it
makes
all
sense.
beautifully around.
Yeah, way to bring it back around.
Yeah, I'm good. That's where I host my own podcast. But well, that's kind of our show for this week. If you guys have any others that we left out or didn't mention, drop a comment below this video or email us at zombietakeover@gmail.com and just say, hey, you guys forgot about this star. And we will see you later. And sometime in a future date, we will once again be able to talk something about sports. You guys have a great night.
Thanks for inviting me.